There's something to be said for a short film that gets in, does exactly what it sets out to do, gets out. And Negadon, the Monster from Mars, the Kaiju short anime film that does exactly that. Well, OVA, but it's basically a short film. Negadon, the Monster from Mars is a very reverent, very loving homage to tokusatsu films of the Showa era, in particular those of the late 1950s to early 1960s. Indeed, the film is set in the 100th year of the Showa period, which would put it about 2026. In the film, humanity has colonized Mars, and during the terraforming process, they have uncovered a mysterious biological entity and decided, for some reason, to transport it back to Earth. On the way back, the creature wakes up when the transport ship enters Earth orbit, and it destroys its ride and crashes back to Earth in Japan, where it, of course, in Grand Kaiju tradition, starts to wreak havoc, and in Grand Kaiju movie tradition, the JSDF is also spectacularly ineffective against the monster. So, it falls on an old, disillusioned scientist who'd been working on a giant robot for the colonization efforts before an unfortunate accident involving that robot killed his granddaughter to get in his mech and best the monster. Now, the film itself, while CG, really gets across the idea that this is a short film from the 1960s that had been forgotten and left in a vault somewhere. The streets look like location footage from Godzilla vs. Monster X, or other films of the period, like, the Battles of the Honor of Humanity series. And the monster's energy weapons have that kind of scratchy feel of 60s optical effects, with, like, superimposed in Tesla coils, or just drawing on the film. There are a few things that break the illusion, though. The CG isn't quite refined enough to give the illusion that we're watching puppets, in the case of the monster, or rubber monster, or a rubber-suited figure, as in the case of the mech. And the film grain and simulated dirt on the film, well, scratches and that sort of thing, while it helps reinforce the feel for the location shooting, it just can't quite cover for that. Similarly, you can tell that the director, as much as he deeply loves Showa-era tokusatsu films, and particularly kaiju films, he's also an anime director and an anime fan, and there's at least a few shots in there which I can clearly see the anime inspiration, because they would not or could not have been done in tokusatsu of the period because the tech wasn't there to do miniatures in this way. In fact, a few of them appear to be like direct references to bits from like Evangelion and some of the 60s and 70s era early piloted mech anime. Ultimately, I came into this with modest expectations. It's a kaiju film that I'd never heard of. In fact, I didn't even know it was anime until I popped the disc in my Blu-ray player and found out that it was an anime. And for a CGI anime, it turns out fairly well, particularly considering the very mixed level of quality that CG anime can have. It actually makes me interested in checking out this director's other work, Planzit, to see how that turned out as well. And additionally, it's a pretty competent kaiju movie for its fairly short length. If you can find a copy of this, I do recommend checking it out. That said, it is also spectacularly out of print. This is one of the last licenses from US Manga Corps, so you can't get it. It's not getting a Blu-ray release. In the what DVD releases are out there, we're not getting another pressing or release of it. One can hope that it would get license rescued at some point. Planzit got a US release as well. I believe that was from, I want to say, Sentai Filmworks? Yes, it was Sentai Filmworks. So, Planzit did receive a US release from Sentai Filmworks. So, it is theoretically possible that if the Sentai Filmworks sells a license, they could maybe pick this up and release it as a double feature with Planzit, like a bundled box set or something like that. And I would certainly, absolutely pick that up, given the opportunity. But otherwise, until then, you're going to be stuck checking for used copies on eBay or on Amazon, or once conventions start back up again, picking them up from your local anime convention in the dealer's room. But either way, should you stumble across a copy, I recommend picking it up.